Hello, this is Lindsay Drangeid, and here is my final oral presentation for educational research. We were asked to address 9 questions, the first of which is why it is important for teachers to be able to recognize and distinguish good research from bad. In order for research to reflect reality as best as possible, which is axiomatic to the purpose of research, the research needs to be accurate. Some potential sources of inaccuracy out of many possibilities are the motivation of the researcher. Is there an agenda to their research? That's a big red flag to dig into another bit of source material. Another area in which someone's motivation might be questionable is if they're trying to market a product. This doesn't automatically mean that the research is bad, but it is a clue to be on the lookout for a lack of data that contradicts a researcher's claim. It would be wise to find more literature that addresses the topics. Pardon the outside noise. A second possible source of error is in the design of the study. Is the format of a study really going to address the research questions? The second question we were asked to address. If you were going to mentor colleagues to help them identify the key characteristics of good and bad educational research, what factors would you include? Good research would be published in peer-reviewed, reputable publications and conducted by people with proper qualifications. The paper would be written with supporting evidence from reference sources. There would be transparent declarations of factors that might negatively impact the validity of the research, and it would be written dispassionately. The design of the study would have sample sizes big enough to give some amount of insight into a much larger population, and of course, the study would be sensitive to the subject's humanity and dignity. Some characteristics of bad research would be that it lacks all of the characteristics described in the previous slide, but also contains unclear writing. A lack of description of methods, lack of control groups, and little to no description of different methods, hypotheses, or explanations to what they have used. Our third question, how can you apply what you've learned about characteristics of research in your professional practice? The first area I thought of was that of district and or building initiatives. I'm not in much of a position to affect much change, but I can ask a thoughtful question at faculty meetings. Another application of what I've learned is in making sure that I'm making the most out of things when I make a significant change to my own class structure and its routines. One of my classes, AP Physics 1, has some significant changes for the 2024-25 school year as dictated by the College Board, and I will be reevaluating not just the content of the course, but how I implement lecture, labs, discussion, and feedback. A third area where lessons learned would be in my PLC, which is a 2-person PLC for general physics. We've been teaching the class together for 5 or 6 years, and we work well together, but it would be worthwhile to compare where we have started to deviate a little bit from one another, which is an unavoidable aspect of teaching classes together, and to recalibrate a bit using a systematic approach. The changes to the general physics course will involve baby steps for next year since we're both dealing with new classes. My revamped AP Physics 1, and for him, he has a new chemistry problem. The fourth question. Has your approach to using research or belief about the importance of educational research changed over the course of this course? Well, it has evolved at times slowly. When going through licensure, so much of what is being learned is by its nature abstract. You don't have any experience yet, so it's hard to see how it all fits together. As a consequence of this, when confronted by the first year or two, so much happens instinctually, and instincts don't always match the research. As time has passed, I've gathered positive and negative examples from AP teaching conferences, my colleagues, and in school professional development, just to name a few sources. All of these experiences have led to an ingrained sense there has to be reason and purpose behind a teacher's decisions, and that digging into factual, disciplined, and dispassionate sources is often an asset. I know that I'll be walking out of this program with ideas, both for what I want to directly implement for the 2024-25 school year, and for more focused methods for figuring out useful changes in the more distant future. The fifth question: what have you learned about the process of conducting online research? Research is problem solving without an answer key, which means it will be messy, especially at first. Patience is required. It will feel inefficient, but I believe the messiness is an important aspect of finding things out. You try ideas you think will be fruitful, but aren't. You accidentally discover something great that you've never considered. Another thing I've learned is that the messiness in time makes your brain work to find connections and to make sense, and that this work makes you sharper. You learn that you must allocate time to let your mind and body wander away from the task for a while. Setting aside enough time also goes a long way towards eliminating panic thinking, which isn't always the most clear. Question 6. What have you discovered or confirmed about your own learning as you have met the challenges of this course? Well, I think I'm mostly doing okay. It seems as though I'm doing at least a few things right, and I haven't created a total disaster. Changes I've been contemplating seem to be on the right track. Now I have a better ability to make those changes more precisely. Some amount of trial and error will always come with the job, but when something can be made better from the start, then there's more time and energy left over to fix the little things that do need adjusting. Finally, I'm enthusiastic about having refreshed and improved my ability to review research and the value this will have in my classroom. And there is no dismissing the importance of enthusiasm. Our 7th question: if you could go back and offer advice to your past self in regard to research, what would that advice be? Start early. Take time at the beginning to figure out your process. Ask questions more often. This is sometimes a problem for me, and I'm sure it's a problem for a lot of teachers. We tend to want to do things on our own. The second to last question: what topic or topics are you considering for your district initiative analysis project in the next class, and why? I'm going to be interested in the bar model. This will be implemented in my district starting this fall, and I don't know much about it. This will be something each teacher is responsible for during our advisory period, which is every day. I want to know what I'm going to be dealing with. According to the BAR website, the BAR model uses 8 interlocking strategies that build intentional relationships, utilize real-time data, and enable schools to achieve academic and non-academic outcomes for each and every student. That's what I think I'll be picking apart. My final thoughts. They're really just a few more bits of advice. But it's don't be afraid of the messiness in time. Give yourself breaks. Choose to be interested. Thanks for your time.